The people in charge have their controlled opposition groups and philosophies, harassing me with offers they don't intend to keep. And even if they did, they are so far from worth it that words cannot describe. Every day, gays and people on behalf of Hollywood martial artists, UFC martial artists, feminists, mental health, government provocateurs, and so on, every single day troll me, and they do so in a very obnoxious way, sometimes a racist way, because they know that there's a good chance that it will get a rise out of me and I will feel the need to vituperate or quote-unquote rant and rave about these groups of people. Okay, I offer $3,000 to anyone who can beat me. The challenge is absolutely fair. It is traditional. It is everything to do with codified systems of martial arts. Putting on shows of forms and katas and, UFC fighting. This is not the highest form of competition in martial arts. Sparring is full contact, which is illegal, to do, in the park or something. Or sparring with gear, which is the closest thing to it. Now, martial arts has to do with transferable skills, okay? The difference between somebody shooting it out and somebody doing martial arts is enormous, okay? There's different forms of combat, but to be the top martial artist requires martial arts being the main form of competition, and the highest form of that competition shows the universal transferable skills that are needed to, perform superior hand-to-hand combat. So my challenge is absolutely traditional and fair. Now let me get to the meat of this. Let me get to the heart of this matter. They expect me to pretend what we all know is true, those of us who aren't complete idiots, those of us who aren't completely conditioned by the opposition view, to be idiots. We know it's true that I'm the top martial artist. I have, my last couple videos ago, I think about 7 people saying that, and you have people hiding behind these cultural norms. And remember, eugenics was a cultural norm in this nation on record until about 1983, when the last eugenic operation was performed. And I cover that in my social Darwinism, social biology, biodemography, scientific racism, etc. video, and the baby denied a heart for being developmentally disabled video, which is, actually because they perceive the baby to be developmentally disabled, which absolutely proves my point. Not only is what they're doing wrong, even if they were right about people's intellectual abilities and capabilities, but they're not even right. It's their perception, it's their opinion based on pseudoscientific nonsense. So it is absolutely immoral for feminists to ask me to stop talking about feminists in such an unfavorable manner in order for them to help me stop the elite from killing 65 million people. It proves that they have a complex. It proves that they're selfish. When I'm one of the best chances of beating these people and you're not going to help me unless I stop making your groups look bad, how sick is that? You care about your image and your little New World Order controlled movement more than you do about human lives. Not to mention, we already know that because of your stance on abortion. And gays, it's the same thing. And martial artists, it's the same thing. You want me to take down my top martial artist challenge in order for you to help me? You care about people thinking that you are better than I am when you're not, more than you care about 65 million human lives being lost every year, in a preventable way? Shame on you. The answer is no, no, and hell fucking no for eternity. You will never turn me. You will never neutralize me. You will never convince me that you're on my side when you're really not. You're on the side of your complex and the New World Order sissies who are satanic eugenicist dogs that I intend to destroy. Not the black people in this picture, but what the picture is about. The Negro Project, poor, black, and undesirable. I've been talking about eugenics and big pharma and all this stuff for so long that I have these on my wall. And before this, I had different notes on my wall that have to do that with that. And before that, I had different notes on my wall going back to 2009. Now, you people are sick. You are absolutely sick. Your complexes are preventing you from doing the right thing. You know? I don't tell Hollywood actors, you know what? Take down all your martial artist movies because people think that you're better than me, even though I'm actually better than they are. I don't tell them that. In order for me to help you save 65 million lives, I want you to, stop making movies and go on TV and admit that you're just a Hollywood bitch. I don't, and you see how that would be more fair for me to ask them of that, to do that, than for them to ask me to do what I know and what every rational mind who has come across my videos knows to be true, that I'm the top martial artist and they're a bunch of cowards that are covertly drugging me. I don't think you understand. I am the top martial artist that offers $3,000 to anyone in America or anywhere else that can beat me, and $25 just to show why they are cowards that are covertly drugging me with eugenic chemicals. Anything that feeds into into a eugenics agenda is a form of eugenics. Okay? And anything that knowingly that they have planned as part of their eugenic agenda that, helps them do eugenics is fucking eugenics by definition. And yes, abortion is eugenics. Yes, psychiatric pills are eugenics. No, I'm not going to be quiet about it. Yes, homosexuality, since men can't have babies from their ass, at least not yet, thank God, is part of eugenics. Yes, attacking the family is part of eugenics. Yes, trying to make all black people seem like criminals and idiots is part of eugenics in a capitalist society where people want to date people that can quote-unquote take care of them and are quote-unquote financially stable, quote-unquote ambitious, and quote-unquote normal. Absolutely, that is on record. Watch my videos again. Watch the Maafa 21 documentary. I'll link to it in the comments. And you tell me what you think. And on record, psychiatrists like Eugen Fisher. Eugen Fisher was a psychiatrist and one of the most famous eugenicists. More people probably know who he is than they know who Charles Davenport is or Lothar Stoddard. Because Eugen Fisher was a Nazi concentration camp running psychiatrist who targeted blacks in Africa during the Hitler era, during the Nazi era. And I told you many times that the Jews, gave the Jewish Chronicle, I believe it was, gave Galton a totally positive review. And Galton on record was a self-confessed racist who believed that eugenics should be used to target blacks. And part of his philosophy and his prerequisites to the IQ test, if you will, are what went into creating the modern IQ test, which also feeds into eugenics. Everything that mainstream society does pretty much is geared toward feeding into eugenics. Bill Gates' father, the past president of Planned Parenthood. Okay, John D. Rockefeller, the father of David Rockefeller. On record, I have his clip, and I put it in one of those videos. The baby denied and the eugenic video that I put after it. On record, gave eugenics a favorable review in the fucking newspaper. On record. Eugenics is aimed at blacks, but it kills whites, Native Americans, and women, and a whole bunch of other groups of people too. And the only reason feminists even talk about it when the few times that they do is because it has to do with women. That's part of what separates me from all these groups of people. Is I'm not obsessed with my controlled opposition New World Order agenda. I'm concerned and, focused on what is, defies God and what is bad for humanity. You killing 65 million people a year is bad for humanity. Asking me to take down videos in order to keep yourself from looking bad, doing what it takes to keep me from teaming up with you because you're afraid of how your New World Order group is going to look or how you're going to look is bad for humanity. The people who make these offers are bad for humanity. Their philosophies are part of what keeps humanity down. Not to act is as much of an action as to act. Soft killing people and setting them up to die is as much of an act of murder as shooting them in the fucking face. They have declared war on all of humanity, and everyone who fights for all that is right will fight against them. And every group that they have targeted, especially, that they have zoomed in on, they are focusing on more than others, has no excuse. They are killing you. They are waging war against you. And you are too uneducated to see that your Bibles and your Quran call for you to defend yourself against evil. You are too ignorant to realize that these controlled opposition bitches aren't going to fucking be your messiahs. They are going to be your downfall. Even Hitler talked about things that were good while he was killing a whole bunch of people. And so did his followers. You know, National Socialism. They gave money to poor Germans. They helped bring Germany out of the recession, the depression. They helped stimulate jobs and so on and so forth by stealing from the rich and the Jews and the bankers and the Masons and putting them in camps and political dissidents and putting them in camps, pawning their jewelry, investing in things. They did a certain amount of good with along with their enormous amount of evil. Coughing, gassing. That's how it is. And when I tell you that people who on record time and time again for over 100 years have been caught poisoning people, drugging the food, drugging the water, poisoning the water supply, gassing people in gas chambers, capital punishment, Nazi gas chambers, my fucking room. On record. And you don't believe it? You're a fucking traitor to humanity. Why on earth would I fucking lie? There is no reason in the world to fucking lie. They have every reason. They have billions and billions and trillions of dollars worth of reasons to lie. Not to mention their complexes. So the whole point of this video is that a bunch of ninny cowards who only care about their image refuse to quote unquote help me, which is probably really sabotage me and try to direct what I'm saying in a different direction, redirect me, guide me a different way than I'm going. You know, if I stop making them look bad, I'm going to tell all you people out there, you gays, you feminists, look, if you want to help me take on the New World Order and post my videos, if you want information about, taking on eugenicists, I'm not going to ask you to stop being a twinkle-toed fairy, a feminazi, a Zionazi, or whatever other form of low-life trash you are. I'm going to help you stop them killing 65 million people a year. Because I'm not a complete bootlicking fucking coward with no morals at all, only concerned with his own image. Thank you. Dedicate this clip to all you dumbasses who think that black people are complaining for no reason and don't know how to let slavery go. This is even worse than slavery, even worse than the Jim Crow laws and slavery combined. Eugenics, which kills 65 million people a year.
Was unlucky enough to be born with 2 medical problems, the heart defect and a rare genetic disorder. Doctors said he was an undesirable candidate for a transplant because his genetic defect would limit his survival after he got a new heart.
You slobber.
But you did your own research.
Yes.
And what did you find?
That is not true.
Chenkis didn't accept what the doctors told her.
So basically the doctors were lying to her because they really believe in eugenics. They don't want to give a chance to people who are developmentally disabled. They don't want to treat them as equal citizens, as human beings. They'll say, well, you're a lesser form of life, you're undesirable, you're unfit to live, we're going to give that heart to someone else. Your position on the waiting list doesn't matter, or whatever it is they do, it doesn't matter, and we're going to let you die. Okay? This is the policies of the people in charge. They pretend to love you, just like in psychiatry. They pretend that they're doing health care, mental health care. We care for our patients. We're compassionate. They don't care. They kill people. I promise you that. I've studied psychiatry for over 20 years. I've studied eugenics for probably around, intensely, probably around 6 or 7 years. When I really started highlighting it was probably in 2010 or 2011 when I started talking about the Maafa documentary. Seconds later in the CNN clip.
Two. Dr. Grange Coffin, he's the Coffin and Coffin-Cyrus syndrome, the scientist who discovered it, told us it's wrong to deny someone a transplant because of the syndrome. So what do Maverick's parents think is the real reason the hospital denied their son a heart transplant? They think it's because his genetic defect makes him developmentally disabled.
I told them that I knew that they didn't want to waste a heart on him because they felt like he was going to be delayed. Hearts are very rare, and I understand that, but I also understand that Maverick's a baby, and he needed a heart.
Do you think they just sort of discredited his life, discredited his future?
Absolutely. And if they were to say otherwise, they would be lying.
Maverick was dying. Chenkis pleaded with the doctors.
I just said, will you guys please reconsider this? Reconsider transplant for Maverick. And sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. Sorry. And they just get up and walk out of the room. That was it. And just left me there. I remember I was laughing because I was in shock. I was laughing with tears streaming down my face because I was in shock. Like I could not believe that was really happening. We're talking about my son's life, and you're looking at your watch, and you just walked out on me.
New York Presbyterian declined our repeated requests for an interview, and in a statement told us their evaluations are conducted with compassion and bring the best ethical, medical, and scientific principles to the process.
Yeah, scientific racism, you piece of shit.
Maverick's parents didn't give up. They filed a federal discrimination complaint against the hospital and got him transferred to a new hospital that didn't have the same transplant concerns. Eventually, it turned out Maverick got better without a transplant, but that hasn't ended the controversy about whether transplant doctors discriminate against patients with disabilities.
Look. Let me make this clear. There are a bunch of eugenicist dogs, okay? A bunch of social Darwinists, scientific racists, social biologists, fucking scum. Okay? They fucking kill people because they're eugenicists. That's what they do. This is by design. It's not an accident. It's not a mistake. It's by design. Dumbass slut wanted me to do real kicks. As if that whore can do this. Watch this.